Professor, back to my question.
Yes.
Um,
Thank you for being patient.
yeah, of course. So I just wanted to ask you what your recommendations are for, so for classes, because so I registered for classes today.
Yep.
There's only one class I didn't get into because I am not a specific major.
Yeah.
So
I hate that.
I've, yeah, I've emailed my professor and asked him to put me on the wait list because there's about 40 remaining spots. Um, but in case I don't get in, is there any like specific class that you find that people take? Um, so I'm taking data structures. Is there any class that you recall that people found interesting? Or I found one class that I thought would be interesting, which was another math class.
Okay.
That seemed to be a little bit more computational, but because I'm not in the math school, I can't take it. I don't know if there's like an exception that I could, inquire about, but
So in general, what happens is all of those are locked until
yeah,
after the registration period, and
yeah.
then and then after the registration period, then they open up so that people can. Most of the time, they open up so that people who meet the prereqs can get in. So there is a possibility, and if you talk to the professor, they may be willing to squeak you in if you have a good reason, or a lot of interest.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a professor can sign anybody into the class they want. So if you can convince them, or if you have an interest, or you can show them that you're interested, sometimes you can get in. You know, what year are you? Are you a
I'm a freshman.
freshman? Okay, so
Yep.
data structure. How many credits are you taking?
So as of right now, I'm at 12.
Okay, and one of them is data structures, and one of them is.
So
Well, I mean,
next semester,
which one didn't you get into? I guess is the question.
introduction to cognitive science. It's required
Okay.
for the AI pathway.
Yeah. So that'll get easier as you get higher in the class. As you're sophomore and junior.
Yeah.
Hey Ryan, is cognitive science filled right now or is it just major restricted?
Major restricted.
It's
Uh,
it's
it,
one section is filled, the other one is major restricted.
okay, is it Weissman who's teaching it?
Brahm. I have Brahm.
Oh, Braun.
I can actually
Yeah, if
ask
you
him.
ask Braun, you can ask him. Sorry, I'm a cognitive science major as well. That class, normally they let people in who aren't cog sci majors. You just have to go to the professor and ask. So
Yeah.
if you ask to be like, I forget what the form is called, but you can get them to sign off and let you in even though it's major restricted.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I have his class in 45 minutes, so I sent him an email, but he didn't respond, so I'll just ask him then.
Yeah.
Yeah, just ask him, honestly. He signed me into stuff, Brom did, because I was trying to become a cog sci, but I wasn't actually yet, so he had to sign me off for classes. He's usually pretty cool with that.
All right, thanks.
So it's a conflict form is what you need. It's not always a conflict. Let me grab this. I think this is the one you need. I found all. Come on, why aren't you going in? Okay, there's a form you need to have signed. It's actually the multi-purpose form. It's a multi-purpose form. If there's a time conflict, or there's a closed section or something like that. Anyway, it's a good way to get in. CogSci we work well with. GSAS is very interesting. There's a lot of ITWS courses out of that'll talk about web development and things like that are good. I like to see a lot of I like to have people kind of concentrate on their sciences and maths during their freshman section. Get some of those courses you know, if you have a light load in computer science, take some of the harder courses that you're going to run into later on. You know, so you should be taking. I don't know if you have physics yet, but those are good ones to take. And then, you know, for your humanities, you know, you can either pick something that you're interested in using in your career. Like I did management for a while. I think I got a minor in management when I was an undergrad. Or something that you just find interesting. So, you know, there's a lot of literature courses that are really interesting. If you're artistic, there's a lot of drawing courses. You know, pick something that you know, kind of gets you a little, while getting you credit and allowing you to learn, also gets you a little bit of downtime. I don't know. Does that make kind of sense? Does that help at all? Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I was wondering if it was like overkill to, you know, load up on CS stuff, because I mean, for intro to cog sci, it's not a big deal if I don't get it now, because, you know, I'll just end up taking it eventually anyways. It's a requirement. You know, I'm going to take it one way or another, and the only difference is if I take a random class this year, you know, it just reduces one of my free electives towards the end, which it all balances out. So
yeah.
But thank you for the help.
Yeah, sure. You know, data structures can be a handful, so trying not to overload yourself too much next semester is probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, I've already done it.
Okay. On the other hand, you can ask Kristen. By the time you get to your junior or senior year, you're going to think back and say, "Wow, that data structures was really easy. I could do that."
Oh, that's exactly what I think. Yes, of course. I think it makes other classes easier in hindsight.
There you go. But if you had to go back and
That's
take it
pretty easy
again,
compared to that.
if you had to go back and take it again, though, you could do it pretty easily now, right?
No, it'd be easier now, but I think at the time I was just tired.
No, that's part of it. So, you know, don't kill yourself the semester you're taking data structures. Give yourself time.
So one last question, sorry, and then I've kind of taken up all your time, but so do you think if I don't get into that cognitive science class, do you think it is I mean, I'll probably speak with an advisor about this, but do you think it's necessarily a bad idea to only have 12 credits? Because I'm doing Calc 2, data structures, bio, which is like a lab and the lecture.
Yep, yeah. I might pull in one of my humanities. Like I said, find something you're interested in. Because if you have a really hard load and you only have 12 credits, you have no other recourses.
Right.
Right. You have to soldier on with everything.
Yep.
Find something you're interested in, and you know, like my son, he's a senior now, not at RPI, he's in Indiana, but you know, he took he played the viola during high school, so he took, you know, music as kind of one of his sides, and he wanted to learn Japanese, so he took Japanese. You know, find something that you find a little fun. Right, there's a lot of courses out there, and there's a lot of free electives in CS. So find something that you can do and work on, but that you'll also find a little bit relaxing. I don't know if you're artistic or anything. You know, I like to recommend people look at some of the artistic stuff. There's a meditation course. I don't know how hard that is to get into, but early in your career at RPI, you know, learning how to meditate and you know, guided relaxation, not a bad idea. You know, so, you know, just, I would recommend you at least pick up one of those just to give yourself some room in case something goes bad. And also to let you start exploring things that you might find fun. You can't do everything. Yeah. Logic is, see, now that's the type of recommendation you want. Pretty easy and fun.
Yes, do logic.
Yeah.
It's good. I took it with data structures. It was not time consuming at all. And it actually was really helpful for Fox because I already was familiar with like the notation.
That's what I was going to say is by the time you get into to some of the later courses in CS, logic is going to be really helpful. So
yeah,
you know, that's a win-win-win.
The philosophy course?
Yeah, it's philosophy.
Yeah.
But it's not really philosophy. It's like
it's
it's not computer science, but it's almost kind of, it's basically intro to Fox.
It's the good part of philosophy.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the formulation of arguments and proof structures.
Hey, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Out of curiosity? So I signed up for 2 courses that were full, and I was able to sign up to the wait list for one, but the other didn't have a wait list.
Yeah, that's determined by the professor.
That's just okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to email that professor.
Yeah, you can contact them. They'll either say yes or no.
Yeah, if it's a, so I can tell you that I don't know what the courses are, but if it's a core competency for computer science, and you have the prerequisites, you will probably get in.
No, it's actually a writing course, but
I can't help with writing.
I was in a writing course last semester, and I emailed the professor, and they let me in immediately. It was no issue.
Yeah.
The class was
I mean,
full.
they look
Normally
like
not too.
they look like
Right.
super small classes. Like
yeah, it was like 20 students or something.
yeah, there's only 2 spots, so I'll email the professor, and hopefully I'll get in.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to, because a lot of professors they like to put those low caps on because it's really much. If you're teaching a course that's interactive, if you get too big,
Yeah,
It
like
gets-
I can
it gets-
imagine with
yeah.
writing.
but
Like, you gotta
20,
grade papers, Jesus.
yeah, but 20 to 21 is not bad, right?
Yeah, I think
20 to
the,
30 is bad.
The class size right now is about 15 students,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, give it a
Kristen,
shot.
are you talking about intro? You're talking about intro to logic, right?
Yes.
Okay. You know what?
With Professor Bringshard.
Yep. All right. I will. You know what? I'm gonna sign up for it, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But just to have something. So thank you for the
Yeah,
recommendation.
It's got a huge number of spaces.
I've heard a lot of good stuff about Professor Ringster too. So
Oh,
Does
he's
that
brilliant.
class have a prereq? Like, does it have a prereq?
No, he teaches you from the beginning.
Okay.
That's good. All right. Thank you guys for the help.
yeah,
What's
he's
the
both
professor's
he's
name
both
again?
well liked and does a good job. So
What's
He's
his name
super
again?
smart.
What's his name again?
Oh, Intro to Logic, Professor
Yeah.
Bringshard.
Bringsterd?
Yeah, Selmer Bringshard.
Got it. Thanks.
All right. Have a good weekend, you guys.
all right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
So based on like our experience in this class, do we have will we have enough experience to do anything for Archos next semester?
So that is a loaded question. We find people who have done data structures have a better have an easier time because their competencies are more opened up. There's more things that they're comfortable doing. But we always do have second semester freshmen in Archos. So we do recommend you try to get data structures in, or at least be taking it at the same time. But there are Archos. Not everything in Archos is a technical contribution. There are all sorts of contributions along the lines of, if you become a good tester, writing tests for some of the bigger projects can keep you going for semesters on end. So there are ways to contribute. It will make it easier on you if you've done data structures, but we always have people who haven't, and they generally do okay. As long as you stay up on top of the work and reach out to us fast if you're finding out that you're not having success contributing, we can help you get past that contribution guideline.
Okay.
But that's I don't know if that was an answer or not, but
Yeah, that's perfect. I was looking at the course scheduler, and it was only showing Archos for 3 or 4 credits. But
Yeah.
I was just wondering is there like a way to do it and just contribute but not take it for credit?
yeah, well, it's so you've kind of loaded yourself up for me to use my favorite line. How would I stop you? Everything has to be open source. I do. I encourage it, but on the other side, if you wanted to do it, there was nothing I could do to stop you. In some sense,
You do?
I could.
Oh, okay. You do encourage it, or you don't encourage it?
No, I do encourage it. I don't
Okay.
want you guys taking on more work than you can, but especially your first semester in, it's nice to be able to kind of look at what other people are doing and get acclimated, without having the burden of having to keep up with contributions and things like that.
Yeah, I think it would just be good for kind of experience and be able to contribute without being like graded, I guess, on it.
That's
Okay,
and that's
is-
like I said, I can't stop you. It's open source.
Oh, so we don't sign up for it in that case?
Oh, no, you don't have to sign up for anything in that case. We
Oh,
will.
how do
we will still welcome you into the course. And if you ask, I'll put you in the submittee and everything else, so you can, contribute.
Okay, cool.
As fully as everybody else, but you don't have to sign up for it.
Are there lectures or anything?
So it's not really a lecture. We have it's mainly, well. So it's been weird because of COVID. In most of the semesters, what we would do is we would have a lecture, mainly guest speakers or seminar type activities, a couple of times a month on a Friday. And other than that, you're generally working in small groups. So it's more like a lab structure most of the time with an occasional seminar.
Oh, so you join groups basically?
Yeah, but don't worry about that part. You don't have to
Okay.
come in with an idea. You don't have to come in with a group. We will help you either formulate your idea or join a group. We spend the first 2 weeks.
Speed dating, I
Speed
think is what
dating.
you call it.
Yeah, it depends on the coordinators.
project.
Sometimes they get a little touchy on. They both invented and denigrated the speed dating concept. But yeah, it's been called speed dating. I like to call it speed dating. I think it's a good one. But so we'll have people present, and then we'll have you go out and meet with a bunch of them and figure out what you like.
Okay, great. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So, is there a way that I can kind of, I guess, document that I'm interested just because I'm not registering for credit?
Yeah. So, essentially, you'll just email me.
Okay.
Or we have a Discord channel. It's probably the best way to get involved. If you email me, I'll send you the link to it, and then you can log in and kind of start browsing around and at least listen into the announcements and the things that go on.
Okay, great.
And then next semester, if you decide you want to be involved and you don't want to go for credit, you just let me know, and we'll roll you into submitting in section 99, and you'll be able to submit and do all the other stuff, and things will be good.
Okay, thank you.
Does that make sense? All right.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. Bye.
Excuse me, Professor.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Depends on the question, but I won't mind much.
Thank you. I was just wondering if you could explain at least, I don't know, the sort of the mathematical term of like, I don't know exactly. It's essentially sort of like predicting how many times a program or a function will run. It's like with the, like, for example, with the n squared,
Right.
that sort of thing. I'm
So-
just having a bit of trouble understanding it.
That's why you need to take logic and argument. I don't know if they go into it in logic and argument, but we've had philosophy courses that go into this. So let me sit back and think for a second how to best explain this. And you will be, if you stay with computer science, you will get this over and over again through the entirety of your career. So the idea is, if something takes, on average, 1,000 units to run, in some measure of units, sometimes it's comparisons, sometimes it's total operations. It doesn't really matter what it is. But if it takes 10,000 to run on an input of size 10, can we put a bound on how fast that function is going to grow? Right. So it's like taking the average execution time over a large number of executions for a given input size, and then fitting a curve to it. And what is the bounds on that curve? So something that goes up like this, right? That would be like an n squared process. So if you took the execution time for that process and you ran it over and over again on a lot of small inputs, and then you increased the input size and you ran it over and over again, you ran it over and over again, you ran it over and over again, and you plotted the average execution time for the different problem lengths, you're going to end up with a curve. And what it is there you go. Kristen just posted a really nice link, I assume. I haven't actually gone to there yet. I'll pop on that. But the idea is that you want to, if you plot the average execution time over a large number of executions of the process for a fixed input size, and then you increase the input, how fast does that how fast does that execution time go up? And order of n squared is fast, and order of n means that there's a linear dependence. So if you double the size of the input, on average you double how long it takes. Log n is as you double the size of the input, you go up by 1. Right, you go up by the log of the right. So every time you double it, you're adding 1 to the execution time. So that's sublinear. So all that is, it's putting bounds on. It doesn't tell you how fast something runs. It tells you how fast something gets slow.
I see. I think I more or less understand it. I'll try looking over